Hello Flosstube and welcome back. I'm Ros Clark. This is Ros Clark Craft here on YouTube. That's where we are, isn't it? And Instagram and Etsy and something else which I have to tell you about, which is my big announcement for today. So if you're watching this on Facebook, hello. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello YouTube. One of the things I am doing is I have started my own Facebook group for Ros Clark Craft. Do come and join us over there. I plan to do a lot more posting over there, and indeed have been doing a lot more posting over there than I have been doing on YouTube. YouTube is quite tricky for me because my internet at home is still not great, so uploading videos really does take a long time. I don't know how long this is going to take to upload to Facebook, but what I plan to do in future probably is Facebook Lives, which then I don't have the whole editing and uploading thing to do. So you're more likely to see videos over there. I may or may not be able to then add those to YouTube. But also much shorter things, more regular things, stuff about a whole load of different crafts, not just cross stitch. I mean, I talk about different crafts here as well, and encourage you to share your own crafts there and creative things. We had a post asking what things you were being inspired by or who your favourite creator was. I think we'll probably have something quite soon about what are your plans for the autumn. Do you have back to school crafting, or are you getting ready for seasonal crafting? All sorts of things. So you can join in and you're encouraged to share. You can post about anything craft related. When you sign up, there are a couple of questions. So it's not private group, but it is closed. You do have to answer a couple of questions to say that you're not going to post about random stuff. I will just delete it. You can post about crafting. You do not get to post about what clever thing your grandchild has just done, or even your dog, to be honest. And frankly, if anyone ever posts, I haven't added this to the rules, but I'm going to, if anyone ever posts something that begins with admins, please delete if not allowed, whatever you then post, even if it would be allowed, is not allowed. Okay, just, you know, stick to the rules. Don't post that. Anyway, but do come. It is a friendly community. It's not huge yet. I don't think, I must say yet, it's not going to get huge. I never have huge numbers. I don't know why I'm saying that. But it's not huge, but it's fun. And there's lots of people there already. And I would love more people to join. So that is my Facebook group. That is my big, exciting announcement. And if you don't see a whole lot more from me on YouTube, but you'd like to see a whole lot more from me, that's where you want to go and have a look. Obviously, the link will be in the description below. I will still be posting on Instagram. If I ever have any new releases, they will also be appearing on Etsy. And I'm not saying I'll never post here again, but it's not going to be my primary focus. Laughingly, like it's been my primary focus for months. There's still a lot of life happening. I'm not going to go into it all. There is still a lot of life happening and it's been quite hard work, but I do have some things to show you. So first of all, I've got a finish. I haven't got any fully finished objects, but I have got a finish. This is Stitching My Way to Happiness. I haven't got a board. You'll just have to manage. Well, I've got a board, but it's quite manky in fact, so you just have to manage. Stitching My Way to Happiness by Emma Congdon. This was from the Cotton and Twine subscription box. So Cotton and Twine subscription box run by the Historical Sampler Company. I won this in a giveaway from Mama Loves UGB. She sent it with all the bits and pieces, including the very lovely sweeties. And I finally got around to stitching it. I think this might have been like January, February, something like that, perhaps. There are a number of things I wanted to say about it. I did really love it. I like Emma Congdon designs. You know, when I was first sort of starting to cross stitch again a few years ago, she was one of the designers I came across and was like, oh, actually, I really want to stitch some of those things. So I really enjoyed stitching it. I like her lettering. Yeah, I like the colours. I like everything about it. Things that I have changed, deliberate change, the sequins. I really am happy with that. So there are on the chart little doodads where you've got, you know, sort of 4 stitches arranged in a diamond. And I left those till the end. I was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, I think I want something a bit funkier than that. So I stitched the sequins in, and actually I added a few more in other places. And I think it definitely adds to my happiness when I look at it, and I'm very pleased with how that has worked out. So that's one change I made. Another change I made, which I think is an error in the chart. One of the petals on this flower, and I forget which one it was, had the point missing at the end. And given that every other petal on every other flower had the point, I stitched the point in. But I think there was an error in the chart there, so I made that change. You may also notice, or you may not have done, you know, that flower down there, not quite the same size and shape as the others, because I made a mistake, and then I'm like, I'm not going to fix it. I don't care. I don't think you can even really tell. You can tell if you look up close. You can tell the middle of it is not circular in the way that the other two are. It's definitely on an angle, a bit squished. But honestly, it's fine. So that's a change. And then the one other thing I made a change, which I'm glad to say I don't think you can spot, and I would not know if I did not know I had done this. I had to substitute some thread. Now just give me a second. I'm going to grab the thread card that came with it. So it comes with all the thread, DMC thread, on a card like this, holes punched. And unlike some companies, they do tell you, they don't just give you a name, they also give you a DMC number for the threads. These are my leftovers. It's interesting, isn't it? Some of them, like for example this blue, in fact both those blues, really quite a lot left over. Quite a lot of the violet, the greens, perfectly fine. This kind of lime yellowy colour, loads. The grey, given that you literally do about a dozen stitches in the grey, really quite a lot of thread. But you see, both of those pinks, I mean this one, I've left it in there so you know what colour was there. I literally ran out of. This one I didn't run out of, but there's really not a lot. Those are not full strands left there. There's really not very much. Now, on the darker pink, it is partly my fault. I stitched the top half of the HAP up here. So I had to take them out and redo them, and I didn't save all my thread. So if I had not done that, I would have had enough. I still don't think I'd have had loads, but I would have had enough. And the pale pink thread I stitched exactly as called for. And again, you can see really not very much left at all. And I was just a bit surprised by that because, like I say, all the other colours, really quite generous amounts. And, you know, I'm a reasonably frugal stitcher, I think. I'm not saying I'm the most frugal, though I'm trying to get out of that habit, to be honest. My natural tendency is to think, always unconsciously be just going, now what is the, you know, quickest path for my needle to go through that will use least thread? And I'm trying to slightly get out of that obsessive saving thread mode. But even so, I still think I'm reasonably frugal. And can I just show you the back? I never do good backs, but that's quite a good back, I think. Also, it's quite weird because showing you on the camera, it's reading the right way around to me, and I'm like, is that the back? No, that is the back. Yeah, oh, there's a little bit of thread, but that's where I put the sequins in. I mean, you know, I use different thread for that anyway. So yeah, I don't know. It's the first one I've ever done from Cotton and Twine. I'm not a subscriber, like I say. I won my box. Oh, it says here January. There you go. But I was just a bit taken aback. It's the first time in any kind of cross stitch club I've ever done, or kit, where I've even come close to running out of thread. And like I say, I did. So anyway, the change I made, I had to substitute, it was only a little bit, the outline of the inner circle on that flower is a different colour. So it's not connected to any of the other colours. You're not making a direct comparison. And I found a classic Colourworks that I think is fine. Yeah. I think if I had to say which one was different, I could guess. But I think if I didn't know one was different, I wouldn't know. So, yeah. So, I don't know. Let me know if you've used Cotton and Twine. Is that a problem you've come across before? Or with other cross-stitch kits? Have you done this kit? And did you have a problem with it? Or was it... I mean, part of me just wonders, did I put some of the thread somewhere else? Or, you know, put it in another bag or something? But I can't imagine I ever took it off. Yeah, I don't know what has happened with that, but I was surprised. So anyway, that's my finish. I have had a new start. It's not a very big start. In fact, I'm going to show you the thing first. So this is one of those beautiful French cross-stitch books that I bought, inspired by Deborah of Kensington Cross Stitch. Deborah, if you're watching, I really miss your videos, just saying. I know you've got other stuff on, it's fine, but anyway, she recommended Hélène Lebert, and I really love it. I think it's all a little bit sophisticated and elegant for me, but I have really wanted to stitch something from it. I know she did the carrot, and I might well do that. But the one I have started is this one. Isn't it so pretty? Earlier this year, you may remember, I went to France, and one of the things we looked at was a lot of the Toile de Jouy fabrics, and it's very much got that sort of feel to it in the different shades of just one colour. And in fact, all of this book, it's called Monochrome Camieux, and the monochromes, you know, some of them are literally monochromatic, but the others that are not are like this, where they're all tonal. So I'm not planning to stitch the whole picture. I'm going to do this spool with the little bird and the needle. Can you see that? Yeah, the spool with the bird and the needle. And then I'm thinking I might also do this little thread winder, and I might do the scissors and thimble. And let me show you, I'm doing this on a scrap. I think this is ballet slippers from Fox and Rabbit, although it's so scrappy I couldn't absolutely swear to it, but I think it is. So you can see I've just started with that, and I haven't used the call for DMC. I got my stash of anchor threads and picked 6 colours that have the same colour family. Let me see. Is that going to show? Yeah, it's a bit dark. Anyway, it's really delicate. The way it's charted, you have these sort of sections, and then there will be some lines that go through that, but it's not full coverage at all. And the shading, I mean, it's so beautiful. Let me find something. I've got a list of it. There we go. Is that better? Yeah, I mean, you'll get a better impression when I've actually finished the thing, and you know, if I ever iron it. But the shading between the colours, just focus. Yeah, really subtle and delicate and beautiful. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is stitch those different elements, possibly all on scraps of this, because I've got another scrap as well, and I think I might get them all on, but also possibly on scraps of different fabrics. And then I'm going to make them together. I've got a finishing idea in mind, but it's going to be a slightly patchworky kind of finish, and I think it'll look really pretty with that, like they're real bits of vintage stitching that you sort of found and made something from. That's my plan with that. So anyway, I'm really enjoying stitching it, and it's going quicker than I thought it might. That was just, you know, an hour or so stitching. So that was lovely. I wasn't really planning to talk about that. Good. Okay, and then the other thing I've been actually working on stitch-wise, not cross-stitching, this is my slow stitched piece that I am continuing to work on. And the thing that's lovely about this is there are absolutely no rules and absolutely no specific intention. So I'm just using, hopefully you can see, I can't see at all, a whole range of different embroidery stitches as I feel like it. I'm using one skein of Threadworks in this beautiful rainbow variegated colorway, and I'm sometimes using 1 or 2 or more strands as I feel like it. I really enjoy doing these little bits of weaving and so on. And then I was really pleased. I was starting to think about how I was going to finish it, and it's going to be in a kind of a, I was going to use a spool, but I think I might just make a roll of it sort of by itself. And I remembered I'd got a little pack of trims that I bought from XG Designs, and it had this pretty lace, this wider lace, which I'm not sure I'm going to use because of the sort of mottled dye on it. I think it'd be lovely for some things, but I think for this it's not quite what I want. And there's also a little bit of rickrack. I thought there might be pom-poms in it, but anyway, if there were, I've used them. But I did find, which I had entirely forgotten about if I ever knew, that it had these 4 I think they're Dorset buttons, where you get just a ring and then you stitch around and make the shape. And they were just the perfect orange. And so I thought, well, I'll put them on there and they can kind of help bridge the gap between the orange and the purple. And so then I've been stitching around those to highlight them. And yeah, so it's super fun. There's not loads left to do. There's some, but you know, not loads. And I'm really enjoying it. So I really recommend something like this if you just want really, really stress-free stitching. It's sort of the stitching equivalent of colouring in for me, where I'm not making decisions because I'm literally just picking up the same thread every time and I'm choosing a stitch and I'm just doing whatever I feel like, and I'm not really worrying about the end result. It's all about the process, not the product for that. But I was really pleased to find this little trim pack and realise just what a good colour match it is for the fabric which I printed in art class. So that was very good. So that is all the stitching, I believe. I have one other craft, and actually this is also a finish. This is a fully finished kind of. So earlier this year I did a lot of crafts in kits, and the reason for that was I was feeling very stressed and overwhelmed and exhausted, and a kit is great because you don't have to do the decision making. So I've been looking around for other things to do, and I want to try different crafts, and I came across a lovely kit for 3 origami books. Now, when I bought it a few months ago, I paid £21. I think it was a 25% off sale. So it was £28 and I paid £21, which seemed really, really good value. When I looked the other day, when I was thinking about doing the video, I'm like, oh, that's gone up quite a lot. So, you know, it's slightly less good value now, but you get lifetime access to the videos and the PDFs, and you can just buy that, but you can also get the kit, which I did, sent to you, which has all of the papers and the glue and the bone folder. It was supposed to have a glue brush in it, which it might have done and I might have lost it, or it might not have done. Can't be sure either way. And I have to say, the kit didn't absolutely have everything that I needed, and part of that was my fault and part of that I think was the kit's fault. But anyway, let me show you what I made. I'm going to start with the worst first and we'll go up. So this, I mean, I love the way it looks from the outside, this little shape of the book. And look at the amount of paper that this little book holds. And so you've got, essentially, I did 5 large squares of paper. It's called a map book. And you can see how, if you had a map, you could really get a very lot of it. That's a technical term, a very lot. The issues that I am having, pulling it apart properly to show you, are to do with the issues, I think, in what was provided in the kit. So you are supposed to also provide your own glue stick, scissors, pencil, ruler. I think that's it. I can't remember. I did use scissors, but also I used a trimming board I have, you know, like a guillotine, but not that kind. This kind, because I'm not good at cutting straight lines. So I thought, well, I've got a tool to help me do that, I'll use it. Now, the thing that was disappointing about this, 2 things. The sample that they show on the website is called a rainbow map book. And it has 7 of these papers. And they are in bright rainbow colours all the way through from red to purple. Yeah, these are not that. These are pastels, which, I mean, okay, I mean, it does say, you know, you won't necessarily get the colours and patterns shown, and that's fair enough. I would have expected to get 7 different colours, and I didn't. I got 4. So there were these 3, the pink, the blue, the green, and there was some yellow, which I decided not to use. And I didn't do 7. I could have done 7. There was enough paper for that. I did 5 because I already knew at that point I didn't really love it. But the other thing is, I think this is just ordinary copy paper as far as I can tell. And in the instruction video, she glues them together using PVA glue. And there is PVA glue provided, so I thought, well, that's what I'll do. And then I was like, PVA glue does not work well on copy paper. And it doesn't. You can see the paper buckles with the wetness of the glue. And there are bits where it slightly sticks together at the edges that I have to keep pulling it apart. And it weakens the paper. So at the back here, you can see there's already holes in this paper. Now, when I was looking at the video, I'm like, not only are those different colours, I think they're a different quality of paper as well. They just look thicker and firmer, and they could certainly withstand the PVA. With this, I think I'd have been much better using a Pritt stick, which I might have done if I'd had a Pritt stick around. I had 2 Pritt sticks. No, I found 3 Pritt sticks, and they were all dry and manky and useless. So I used the PVA. It wasn't a good decision. You live and learn. I mean, you say you live and learn. You don't, because I already knew that. And I hadn't learned. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to do it. Anyway, so I like it was a fun thing to do. And I like the way the book opens out, like I say, and it folds really flat. And I would definitely make another one like that, but I would use different paper. You know, but that was my worst. So let's come on. What was my next? I kind of love this one. But yeah, no, in fact, that's my favourite. So I'm going to show you this one next. This is the first one I made. This is a mini Chinese thread book. The ribbons do tie, but I'm not going to tie them for you right now. And it opens out, and you have these little boxes inside, and one on the other side. So you can get these, and indeed she has a course where you made these, where they're much more complicated, where you have multiple layers and different sizes of this sort of box. But isn't that cute? And wouldn't that be like a really cute little orc container to take with you to a retreat or something, and you just fold it up and tie there? And, you know, you've even got 2 little containers, so you can have one for your orts and, I don't know, one for your needles or something, whatever you wanted. Now, with this one, I think there was enough material, but it was slightly different from what was described in the video and the PDF. And so I ended up not having enough material because I didn't quite realise that. So this paper is double-sided. So the orange and yellow and the orange and white, 2 sides of the same paper. But in the instructions, she's working with single-sided paper, and so one of the things she has you do is cut little squares of paper to line the bottom of your boxes. Obviously, I didn't need to do that, and if I'd realised I didn't need to do that and hadn't therefore cut out extra squares there, which I didn't need, I think I would then have had enough to cover the front and back, which is what you're supposed to do. But I didn't, and so I didn't, because those pieces are smaller, and then I didn't have enough left to cover the big ones. So it was fine. I found some really nice mulberry paper that I had a little stash of, and used that to cover the back and the front. And then this is the bookbinding paper cloth that we got given. So yeah, and you got loads of this. You've got a whole A4 sheet of this green stuff, and you know, you really only need this little bit. Which again, if I'd sort of thought a bit harder and planned ahead, I could have used the rest of this green on this, because the other book cloth I got was this sort of grey, which, you know, not my thing. Surprise, surprise. But it's fine. I didn't mind because I knew that was just going to be a practice anyway. So I really like this one. The green, the blue, the orange, the folding out, the little ribbon. Very sweet. I would do that again. But my favourite one, I think, is this. Although I do, like I say, I do really like that. So this, that's the back. Again, I found myself having to use, I didn't have to, I had enough of the grey book cloth that I could have used that, which was what was provided. But actually what I preferred was this mulberry paper. I was going to do it both in this, and then I found I didn't have enough of this. So then I had to use a different one for the back. But it's fine, because it reminds me that that's the back, because it's black. So this, you get essentially 2 books. So this is what you get, the accordion book, which is what it's supposed to be. And it's essentially like a little accordion folder. So in here, let me show you from the front. So nice ribbons. The ribbons all came with the thing. In here, I put a little folder, and in there, a whole lot of little bits of collage material. I love collage. I always have little bits. I'm going to make a whole series of those little folders, and they can go in my accordion book. Really nice. And then you can tie this up, and then you can open it from the other side, and you get a second little book. Isn't that fun? So I've been doing collage on these. As you can see, I haven't done the last 2 yet. But yeah, So you can decorate it there, you can decorate it obviously front and back, and then you can store stuff there. I think that's so great. I really love that. This is the biggest that you can make starting with A4 paper. You start with 21 centimetre squares. But if you had A3 paper, for example, you could make much bigger ones, and I might not make bigger ones. But anyway, I really enjoy doing that. They don't take long. She reckons about an hour for each of them. Slightly depends, you know, how precise you are and how good you are at following instructions and how many times you have to re-watch her do the same fold 57 times. But, you know, around an hour for each of those. So easily doable, one in an evening or even two in an evening. I did sort of 1.5 and then came back the next day and did the other two. Finished the second and did the third. So anyway, that's from Yvette J.A. Don't know. Anyway, I'll put her link below if you want to go and have a look. She does have finished products you can buy. She has various kits and classes. If you live in Northumberland, you can go and do in-person classes with her. But I thought their online classes were great, very easy to access. You get lifetime access to the videos and the PDFs. So, little experiment in origami bookbinding. I think that is all the crafting I have been doing. It's not quite. I have been doing some art with Auntie Roz, but I haven't got anything to show you. It stayed with them. So I think that is all I've got to show you. I hope you will come and see what's happening on the Facebook page. You do have to have a Facebook account. I'm sorry, you could get an account just for this if you wanted to be part of the group. I will still be posting on Instagram, like I say, and I may still post here from time to time. I'll certainly post here if, for example, I have any new pattern releases, but don't hold your breath for that. Good. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please do like and subscribe, because, you know, and you'll want to click the notification bell, because honestly, there is no saying when I may or may not post another video. I did have a goal to try and get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I think we can say that that goal is whooshing away into the distance, but you never know. So, you know, if you are here and you just watched and YouTube just shown it to you and you thought, actually, I do quite like that, subscribe anyway. I mean, if I never post again, it won't cost you anything. All right, take care.